The 46th US Open Pool Championship is just hours away, and I'm joined by none other than 2015 finalist Karl Boyes. Karl, thanks for joining me. Such a great event, isn't it, this?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That was the year I lost, pal. Dug my brains out. No, like you said, Jake, obviously, fantastic tournament. You know, the history that the US Open has got is, second to none. I think it's probably the biggest tournament on the calendar. Some players and, fans think the World Championships is, of course, I get it. But without doubt, these two tournaments are the biggest we've got in Nineball pool.
Why do you think the US Open seemed to be the biggest in the calendar?
I think, obviously, it's the history, it's the 46th year, but I think the fact that you feel like Nineball's the American game, don't you? So the fact that we're always on American soil for it, when you look at the past winners, Earl Strickland, Shane Van Boening, they've got 10 between them. Even our very own Jeremy Jones has managed to win one. So I just feel like it's just the fact that it's the history and just, the World Championships has moved around, US Open in America on home soil.
And the World Nineball Tour has been growing with each passing week. Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz, he's been a little bit sick recently. He's had to pull out the last couple of events, kidney stones. We've heard he's had an operation and he's made it just in time for this week. But how do you think that's going to affect him as the defending champion?
Yeah, I think obviously all being well where he feels okay. I've never had kidney stones, but I've heard it's brutal. So obviously as long as he's got past that and he feels, 100% healthy, I think he'll be okay. Obviously he's in the Moscone Cup. He's had a wonderful sort of nearly 2 years now. He'll walk in this arena, forget kidney stones, forget everything. He'll walk in here and he'll just think of last year. What he did last year was unbelievable. It was he just went on a mad run, didn't he? Obviously he's won this one. He's won the World Nineball Championships. The fact that he can just come here, enjoy it, walk out. And I think his character is just a very happy, go-lucky fella, isn't it? He's always smiling. Everyone on tour likes him as well, so I think he'll be fine.
Even regardless of the kidney stones, do you think he'll be feeling pressure?
Will he be feeling pressure? I think everyone feels pressure at the end of the day, but he'll be feeling a nice pressure. The fact that he's winning loads of dollars, he's going to be at Ali Pali for the Moscone Cup. He's only played in it once last year. You know as well as me, Jake, he was desperate to get back in the team. He's done it early on. He's the first man in the team. He'll just come out, and I think he's achieved enough in the pool world, really, where even if he quit tomorrow, you've got to be happy.
And this is now the third year that we're back at Harrah's in Atlantic City. Starting to feel like a bit of a home for the US Open now, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. The first year, I think we were all thinking, is this the place it should be? It's a bit sketchy, it's a bit weird. But now, coming here, I've arrived yesterday, I think this is the place to be. You just think it's US Open week. I know there's going to be a lot of fans here this week, and like you said, third year running, I think this is definitely the home now.
And yet again, another stacked field enters the US Open this year. Who's your eye on there to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, obviously it's tricky, 256 players, not just the US Open now. The beauty of the World Nineball Tour now, we've got a lot of majors, open events, 256 players. Always difficult to pick a winner, but form always seems to work out in pool. Players, pool fans, they always feel like there's a lot of luck in the sport. But now I don't play and I'm looking from, the other world, from behind the scenes. I just think there's not as much luck as I once thought there was. Listen, you've got to play well, you've got to have bottle. And if you look at the winners that we've had on the World Nineball Tour, it's the same names. It's the same names going deep. Will we have a new winner? I'm not so sure. Very difficult to say. We had it last year, obviously, with Ruiz. But I think I like the look of Raga. He's been doing really well. Neuhausen, he's been doing well. So these players coming in with form, they're the ones to watch for me.
I wanted to talk about Moritz Neuhausen, obviously back-to-back World Nineball Tour ranking finals, and he snapped one off this week in Connecticut. How far do you think the young German can go this week?
I think he can go really far, quality player. I think the fact that he was playing with Filler at the World Cup of Pool, they got to the final, live TV, very tough tournament to play in that because you're not on your own. You go back to your chair, if you've made a mistake, you feel guilt. On your own, you don't, you just sit there, probably think, what am I doing? But the fact that he played so good in that tournament, he stood up with Filler. It weren't all about Filler. So I think that's what sort of kick-started this little thing. Obviously it's only 19. The tournament is just won in Connecticut at Jason Shaw's club. That was a stacked field. And when I looked at the players he beat, that was really unbelievable. He's going to come here feeling great. He's young, he's fearless. How deep can he go?
Yeah, a 7-pack against David Al-Qaedi to win 9-0 in the quarterfinals. Talking of other guys, it feels like the US Open, it wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about Shane Van Boening, obviously 5-time US Open champion. Had a pretty good run in Connecticut. He's looking to win that 6th. How amazing would it be for the US fans and Shane himself to snap off that 6th this week?
Yeah, it would, and Shane's the type of player where he'll come in. Jeremy Jones says he's got crazy eyes when he plays. He'll come here from the very first ball. He will know how big it is. Other players will come in, can I win it? Even if you've won it before, they'll be thinking, can I win it? I need a few things to go my way. From the very first ball, he will be desperate. to become a 6-time champion. Obviously, he holds 5, just like Earl the Pearl Strickland. Earl's obviously at the latter stages of his career. SVB's only just turned 40, so he's got plenty of time. But he's the type of guy who could really stamp his authority and really, sort of just, he wants it that bad. And it's not easy to play good pool when you want it that bad, but he has a knack of doing it.
And talking away from Shane, looking at the rest of the Americans and the race to the Moscone Cup, Shane obviously is going to be a lock for the US team this year, but the other guys, it's up for grabs. A great run this week could put any number of Americans in contention for that 3rd spot, couldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But as the tour grows, there's all these events, add in, and it's so early days, the tour, and the fact that pool players, we've seen it with Connecticut, certain players didn't go and play. This is the beauty of having a global tour with loads of tournaments. So if you're doing well on the rankings, you might think, have a little bit of time out because you might be a bit exhausted. Listen, it's not easy playing anything for a living professionally, and it can get to you. Sometimes you can go on a roll where you think, well, I've been beaten the first, second round a couple of times, and did I even really try? I know that sounds crazy, but you can. So I think, obviously, we're getting to the business end of the season now. Obviously, Europeans, usual faces will probably be there, the Jason Shaws. America, it's a little bit of a funny one. Tyler Steyer, he won the Texas Open, he's coming in, he's been playing well, did okay last week. Billy Thorpe went quite deep last week in Connecticut, he's moved up the rankings. It's going to be a funny one for the Americans.
I'll ask you for your pick for the US Open in a moment, but I want to keep on the Moscone Cup for a second. Obviously, at the end of the US Open, we find out the next pick for Team Europe and Team USA. Team USA probably a bit of a lock with Shane, barring a great run from someone else. For Team Europe, who do you think is going to sew up that 2nd spot? Because it's really quite exciting when you look at that ranking.
It's so tough just because the fact that there's so many Europeans that can come in. Last year we seen Max Lettner get to the final. I just think, how do you kind of just pick one of the Europeans to come in? Maybe Filler. Listen, I think Filler's going to be in the team. But he's kind of, he's not that far out of it, but he could really come in and win big prizes. But maybe we could see someone like Bijsterbosch come in, win the money. Obviously he got to the final in Spain, so I just don't know. It's so tough to pick.
And the Asians have been great on the World Nineball Tour this year. Kopeny snapped off the Whirlpool Masters, Anton Raga getting to the final of the European. Do you expect a good run from those guys again? Yeah,
I think Kopeny, he's always thereabouts. It's not easy to get to finals and semi-finals, but they're the type of players, the top players on the tour are always in the hat, aren't they? They're always in the hat for that single KO draw, so I think they will play a part. Also, good to see Carlo Biado at the US Open, former champion. Quality play.
All right, Karl.
It's your favourite as well, by the way.
He is one of my favourite, I won't lie. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask you now for your pick for the US Open. Who do you think?
I'm going to go for Anton Raga.
Why is that?
I just think he's a quality player. He's another one like Kopeny and these top boys for SVB. They're always thereabouts. He's not going to go 2 and out, or he's going to be there. Even worst case, he's going to get to lose his qualification match and have that match. So you've got a player in the hat. Who are you picking? I know you love your pool.
I do, yeah. I'm probably going to go Joshua Filler. I think he's been knocking on the door. I know he's been quiet recently, but I think he's due a good run. And in the US Open, he knows how to win in this tournament. On Anton Raga, Karl, I just wanted to mention, how great is it to see him actually playing in loads of World Nineball Tour events this year? Because you know as much as I do. We've seen a lot of him, or heard a lot of him on social media, but not seen a lot of him in our events. But 2023, he's been there or thereabouts in pretty much all of our events.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Anton Raga, by the way. There's a lot of pool players all over the world that are very much the same, but this is what we've got to do. We've got to grow the World Nineball Tour where pool players have got to be going, hold on a minute, I can earn a fantastic living, I've got to get on tour, I can play in these fantastic arenas like we're studying now. This is what Matchroom bring to the table. We all know this in the sporting world, whether it's boxing, snooker, darts, now it's Nineball. Raga, there's a lot of these Filipinos over there, probably names I don't even know, but so good to see the young man come over from Philippines and obviously have the fantastic run. Walks around the arena, doesn't look like he's got a personality. A little bit like Dang, actually. You're thinking, well, there's no real personality, but it's just that their English isn't that good. But when they come out in an arena like this and they get to semi-finals and finals, that's when the personalities come out. You could see that with Raga coming at the last of the Europeans.
All right, Karl, I'm going to let you go. Tap water and early night for you, I think. First day of the event. Don't miss any of the action live from 10 AM. Matchroom Pool for all the broadcast details. We'll see you then.